Welcome back. All right, it's been a hot topic for years, and now the debate has fresh material. We're talking about autism and childhood vaccinations.
Yeah, and just this week, the journal JAMA Pediatrics published a new study. And Dr. Ali Kazryan is here with a weekly dose to break it down for us. Tell us about this. Oh, this is a very interesting study, I think, on many fronts. A lot of parents are ears to the television now.
At the core of it is a study in how people's perception motivates and drives behavior. So you know, we're talking between the break all the controversies between vaccination, and in this specific situation, they were looking at the link between vaccinations and autism and the behavior. So what they found is they looked at approximately 3,700 children with the autism spectrum disorder, which is a neurodegenerative disorder that can start usually about 2 to 3 years of age is when they're diagnosed. It could be communication skills, social skills, things of that nature. It's a big spectrum. And they compared it to almost 50,000 children who did not have an autism spectrum disorder, and they saw what is the vaccination pattern. They found that children who have autism had a significantly decreased amount of vaccination between 4 to 6 years of age, and secondarily, their siblings had a much less likelihood of getting vaccinated. And the challenge with that is that becomes part of this trend we're seeing in lower vaccination rates, and then secondarily increases in outbreaks of vaccine preventable diseases that we're seeing. In California last year we had the measles outbreak and things of that nature. And so that's the concern, is that perception, which really has not been founded in scientific journal. Evidence has supported over and over and over again that there is not a link between vaccines and immunizations based on the current protocols and getting autism. The challenge is that we don't know what causes autism, so are people reaching for a potential possible cure?
And that's the thing is we still don't know. There's still no proof showing what causes it. So
absolutely.
The study, as I read it, it made sense that, look, if your child, and I got one coming in a few months, your child gets diagnosed with autism in his first 6 months or whatever, you're going to be, as a parent, you're going to be a little less likely to be like, wait a minute, you want to read more. And yes,
sure,
like you said, the Lancet study was kind of in 2010, after about 12 years of getting all over the place people saying that autism and vaccines. Lancet did retract.
Yeah, so where all this stuff began was a study in Lancet in 1998 where a British scientist, Andrew Wakefield, made an association between the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine and possible behavioral abnormalities that then kind of just segued into this association between vaccination and a possible link with autism, which study after study has not only found that that's not true, but also his results were not reproducible, and it was in a small number of patients. Of the small group that he studied, only 8 had this pattern. Lancet looked at this, and they unfortunately it took about 12 years, they retracted it, and then in the United Kingdom, actually, he was reprimanded as being dishonest and irresponsible with the literature. So we find that one paper kind of spearheaded this backlash against vaccination, and the negative aspect of it is that vaccination and immunity works on this concept of herd immunity. We have to have about 90% of our population to be vaccinated in order to protect all of us from these diseases that could potentially sometimes be deadly.
This is such a hard thing because I mean, I remember it was probably about 15 years ago when all of this came to light, and I remember hearing from Jenny McCarthy. So when there's someone who's a celebrity who comes to the front to talk about this, then everyone's listening and concerned. So are there any advantages, perhaps? I mean, because there's disadvantages, advantages. You know,
are there any? So the advantage, obviously, the vaccination. If you ask most physicians, we're going to get our children vaccinated, because the benefits of it far outweigh. Based on opinion, the science, and that's the key thing. The evidence seems to support the safety of vaccinations and the absolute benefit in terms of decreasing the risk of these particular diseases that it tries to protect you against. Can people have allergic reactions to the vaccination? Sure, we could get allergic reaction to any pill, any medicine that we take, so that's a risk, but it's small. The associations that people worry about with autism or other behavioral disorder just has not been proven in studies that look at this specifically. So that's one thing that should be reassuring. And again, it's a risk-benefits analysis. For most people, vaccination not only helps you and your child, but it also helps your community and our community at large in being protected by some of these diseases.
Well, the thing that's disconcerting, like we said, we still don't know what causes it, but then at the same time, CDC comes out and says vaccines, yeah, you know, some physicians still do believe there's links to some things, not autism, but the side effects and the possible things that can happen, allergic reactions, are what scare a lot of people as well.
Sure.
And one of the things is, like the CDC said at one point, hey, no, these are fine, and then all of a sudden they changed and they removed thimerosal from vaccines, which they had said was safe, and then now they remove it, and now you're saying, wait a minute, you said this was safe, now you removed it. So how am I supposed to trust the information?
Yeah, so when and that's one thing that with science always happens. People are told one thing and then the pendulum swings or new data comes out. And that's one thing that people should feel a bit comfortable about, that these aren't things that aren't continuously evaluated. And you can see anytime something's even a little bit unsafe is taken out. Most medications, whether they're a vaccine or a pill or a shot that you take, they go through a rigorous amount of testing. A lot of it begins with safety, followed by efficacy, and then interactions, and then all of it put together to make sure the medicine is safe, it does what it's supposed to, and it doesn't hurt you when you combine it to our real world.
Lots to read about.
And it's a lot of information. The big thing to take about this, if you have questions, talk to your physician and your pediatrician about the risk benefits of vaccination for you and your child. Do not go to Google, do not go to what Jenny McCarthy says. Again, no disrespect to her. One thing that was interesting about the study, most of the places that they did this study were in the Western America. So could the opinions change if you kind of extrapolated it to the country? And most people actually, they found in other studies that children were vaccinated before 2 years of age. So to your point, could it be the association with autism scare affecting behaviors in the future?
So much to learn. Appreciate you being here, Doc.
Sure. Thank you, guys.
Time for today. But for more information on Dr. K, you can head to Dr. K's website, which is KazRyanUrology.com, or you can listen to him live and call into his radio show, The Conversation. It's on WOKV, and it airs every Saturday starting at 5 p.m.